3 days later, and I'm finally done dyeing my hair. Today is the Annunciation, so that's the day I'm recording this video, and I'll be going to church tonight, whereas usually we go on Wednesday nights. And so we made it all the way through Eliphaz's commentary on the situation. And now we're going to hear Job's rebuttal. But Job answered and said, "Oh, that my grief were well weighted and my miseries were laid together in the balance. For it would be now heavier than the sand of the sea. Therefore my words are swallowed up. For the arrows of the Almighty are in me, the venom whereof doeth drink up my spirit, and the terrors of God fight against me. Doth the wild ass bray when he hath grass, or loweth the ox when he hath fodder? That which is unsavory, shall it be eaten without salt? Or is there any taste in the white of an egg? Such things as my soul refused to touch, as were sorrows, are my meat. Oh, that I might have my desire, and that God would grant me the thing that I long for. That is, that God would destroy me, that he would let his hand go and cut me off. Then should I yet have comfort? Though I burn with sorrow, let him not spare, because I have not denied the words of the Holy One." So even here, Job refuses to condemn these actions that have occurred against him. And he is still begging the Lord to remove him from the physical plane. And remember too that he's been afflicted with like all of these really painful sores and medical problems. So I think a lot of people under those circumstances do think that passing away would be a good alternative. "What power have I that I should endure? Or what is mine end, if I should prolong my life? Is my strength the strength of stones, or is my flesh of brass? Is it not so that there is in me no help, and that strength is taken from me? He that is in misery ought to be comforted of his neighbor, but men have forsaken the fear of the Almighty. My brethren have deceived me as a brook, and as the rising of the rivers they pass away, which are blackish with ye, and wherein the snow is hid. But in time they are dried up with heat and are consumed, and when it is hot they fail out of their places, or they depart from their way and course, yea, they vanish and perish. They that go to Tema considered them, and they that go to Sheba waited for them. But they were confounded when they hoped they came thither, and were ashamed. Surely now are ye like unto it. Ye have seen my fearful plague, and are afraid." So he is saying that he's been forsaken by friends, but actually like these three among his friends have come to visit him. Sometimes in suffering, we are blinded to those who are truly there for us. "Was it because I said, 'Bring unto me,' or 'Give a reward to me of your substance, and deliver me from the enemy's hand? Or ransom me out of the hand of tyrants? Teach me, and I will hold my tongue, and cause me to understand wherein I have erred. How steadfast are the words of righteousness, and what can any of you justly reprove? Do ye imagine to reprove words, that the talk of the afflicted should be as the wind? Ye make your wrath to fall upon the fatherless, and dig a pit for your friend. Now therefore be content to look upon me, for I will not lie before your face. Turn, I pray you, let there be none iniquity. Return, I say, and ye shall see yet my righteousness in that behalf. Is there iniquity in my tongue? Doeth not my mouth feel sorrows? Is there not an appointed time to man upon earth? To everything is a season. There are a lot of callbacks to Ecclesiastes in Job. And are not his days as the days of a hireling? As a servant longeth for the shadow, and as a hireling looketh for the end of his work, so have I had as an inheritance the months of vanity. There we go, another callback to Ecclesiastes. And painful nights have been appointed unto me. If I laid me down, I said, when shall I arise? And measuring the evening, I am even full with tossing to and from unto the dawning of the day. My flesh is clothed with worms and filthiness of the dust. My skin is rent and become horrible. My days are swifter than the weaver's shuttle, and they are spent without hope. Remember that my life is but a wind, and that mine eye shall not return to see pleasure. The eye that hath seen me shall see me no more. Thine eyes are upon me, and I shall be no longer. As the cloud vanisheth and go away, so he that goeth down to the grave shall come up no more. He shall return no more to his house, neither shall his place know him any more. Therefore I will not spare my mouth, but will speak in the trouble of my spirit, and muse in the bitterness of my mind. Am I a sea or a whalefish, that thou keepest me in ward? When I say, my couch shall relieve me, and my bed shall bring comfort in my meditation, then fearest thou me with dreams, and astonishest me to visions. Therefore my soul chooseth rather to be strangled and to die, than to be in my bones. I abhor it, I shall not live always. Spare me then, for my days are but vanity. What is man, that thou doest magnify him, and that thou settest thine heart upon him, and doest visit him every morning, and triest him every moment? How long will it be ere thou depart from me? Thou wilt not let me alone whiles I may swallow my spittle. I have sinned, what shall I do unto thee? O thou preserver of me, why hast thou set me as a mark against thee, so that I am a burden unto myself? And why doest thou not pardon my trespass, and take away mine iniquity? For now shall I sleep in the dust, and if thou seekest me in the morning, I shall not be found. So still, he does talk about the impermanence of human life. He talks about wishing to be removed from this using means of passing away. And he talks about the afflictions with which he has been stricken. He does not say anything so there are some callbacks to what Eliphaz has said. There's like, for misery cometh not forth of the dust, neither doeth affliction spring out of the earth, is in Job 5, and that's said by Eliphaz. And then Job responds with, my flesh is clothed with worms and filthiness of the dust, my skin is rent and becomes horrible. So it's not like he's directly responding necessarily to everything that Eliphaz has said. And his friend is trying to bring him strength, but it's very difficult a lot of times. I've talked about in previous videos how it can be very hard to reconcile with oneself these different thou hast taught many and hast strengthened the weary hands. So Eliphaz does talk about the positive effects that Job has had on other people's lives. And Job doesn't really respond to that. He's not really saying anything to Eliphaz directly about, like, because, yeah, I mean, like, So sometimes when people are not in that position, they have a hard time understanding what it is like and what the correct thing to say is. You very much get the sense from Eliphaz that he wants to be supportive and that he's come to try to help his friend. But some of the things that he says kind of like come off as platitudes because he's not really, he's not in that position. He hasn't been in that position. You can tell by hearing what he says. And that makes it kind of difficult for Job, who was clearly in great distress at this time. That he doesn't really, know how to answer. And his answers kind of start getting longer after the next friend who speaks is Bildad. And so Job's answers are starting to get longer too. And he does talk to Eliphaz some more. So we'll see, as we get further along, how that relationship progresses between them over the course of the story. I would love to hear from you guys as to your thoughts about the book of Job. And you can include spoilers. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's the Bible. It's been out for a really long time. So as far as, if you want to bring up something that happens later and you're like, I can't wait until we get to that, I would love to hear that too. Until then, I hope you have a blessed Annunciation. And I hope that you are enjoying the season of Lent so far. And I look forward to seeing all of you again very soon.